Everyone has an opinion about Canadian federal politics.
Oh yeah.
Hey gang, what's up? Pretty fun times. Like in the States, it would seem like it's entertaining at least. Donald Trump, a more enlightened, possibly more mature, grown up man on a mission that learned. The insides and outsides, again, I'm not the biggest fan of Trump, but change is coming with this guy. You can see it. He's got people like Elon Musk, Tulsi Gabbard, Robert Kennedy Jr., and they're on his side, looking to make, what we thought was our way of being. Again, we're not Americans, we're Canadians here, but we are influenced heavily. And guaranteed if their government is wasting $1 trillion, our government is also wasting billions and billions and billions. Look, no one's investigating the slush funds anymore. Prorogation, right? Like Trudeau shut it down. Anyhow, this is very entertaining. There's a nose picker in here. Not sure what he does with the booger. Maybe he sticks it in his dad's ear. We'll see. Let's take a look and a listen. Donald Trump has Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, the owner of X, Twitter, SpaceX. Like, he's a wealthy guy. Let's take a look and a listen to what they're talking about in this new DOGE. Which is the Department of Government Efficiency, not like the coin. They're investigating the books, man, and just take a look and a listen. This is wild. Very interesting. Pay attention. We'll learn a lot. Let's look.
USAID?
I think that there's some worthy things, but overall, if you say what was the bang for the buck, I would say it was not very good. And there was far too much of what USAID was doing was influencing elections in ways that I think were dubious and do not stand the light of day.
I can just ask a follow-up to the Pentagon contracts. If you have received billions of dollars in contracts from the Pentagon, and the president's directing you to look into the Department of Defense, is that a conflict of interest?
Yes, which we definitely need to do and are going to do at the president's request.
Does that present a conflict of interest for you?
No, because you'd have to look at the individual contract and say, first of all, I'm not the one, filing the contract. It's people at SpaceX or someone who will be putting for the contract. And I'd like to say, if you see any contract where where it was awarded to SpaceX and it wasn't by far the best value for money for the taxpayer, let me know, because every one of them was.
The president said the other day that you might look at treasuries. Could you explain that a little bit? What kind of fraud, and that question goes to both of you, what kind of fraud are you expecting to see or do you see right now in U.S. treasuries?
Yeah, I think you mean the Treasury Department as opposed to Treasury bills. Or
you also referenced treasuries on Air Force One the other night.
Go ahead.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, really the first order of business is to make sure we're actually collecting. Sorry for this. I thought my son might enjoy this, but he's sticking his fingers in my ears and stuff. So it's a bit hard to hear sometimes. Hey, stop that. No, the stuff we're doing with the Treasury Department is so basic that you can't believe it doesn't exist already. So for example, like I mentioned, just making sure that when a payment goes out, it has to have a payment categorization code. It's like, what type of payment is this? You can't just leave the field blank. Currently, many payments, the field is left blank. And you have to describe what's the payment for, some basic rationalization. That also is left blank. So this is why, the Pentagon, when's the last time the Pentagon passed an audit? I mean, a decade ago, maybe? Ever? Really? And we want to, just in order to actually pass audits, you have to have financial information that allows you to trace the payments. And once in a while, the Treasury has to pause payments if it thinks the payment is going to a fraudulent organization. If a company or an organization is on a do not pay list, we should not pay it. I'm sure you would agree. Like if it's quite hard to get on that payment, the do not pay list, it means that this is someone that is just, it's like dead people, terrorists, known fraudsters, that kind of thing. We should not pay them. But currently we do, which is crazy. We should stop that.
Many transactions. And by the way, hundreds, thousands of transactions like that. You know, we have a big team. And for the sake of the country, I hope that the person that's in charge and the other people that report to me that are in charge are allowed to do the right thing, namely make sure everything's honest, legitimate, and competent. But we're looking at just, when you look at USAID, that's one. We're going to look at the military. We're going to look at education. They're much bigger areas. But the USAID is really corrupt. I'll tell you, it's corrupt. It's incompetent, and it's really corrupt. And I can't imagine a judge saying, well, it may be corrupt, but you don't have the right. You got elected to look over the country and to, as we say, make America great again, but you don't have the right to go and look and see whether or not things are right that they're paying or that things are honest that they're paying. And nobody can even believe this. Other people, law professors, they've been saying, how can you take that person's right away? You're supposed to be running the country, but we're not allowed to look at who they're paying it to and what they're paying. We have massive amounts of fraud that we caught. I think we probably caught way over a lot of billions of dollars already in, what, 2 weeks?
Yes.
And it's going to go to numbers that you're not going to believe. And much, as I said, much is incompetence and much is dishonesty. We have to catch it. And the only way we're going to catch it is to look for it. And if a judge is going to say you're not allowed to look for it, that's pretty sad for our country. I don't understand how it could even work.
On the buyout program, can you personally guarantee that?
Which one?
The buyout program, the operative federal workers. Can you personally guarantee that the workers who opt in to resign now will be paid through
Well,
September?
they'll get their money, but they're getting a good deal. They're getting a big buyout. And what we're trying to do is reduce government. We have too many people. We have office space. It's occupied by 4%. Nobody's showing up to work because they were told not to. And then Biden gave them a 5-year pass, some of them, 48,000 of them, gave them a 5-year pass, that for 5 years you don't have to show up to work. This is largely, much of this stuff is because of Biden. It's his fault. He allowed this country, what he did on our border. What he did on our border is almost not as bad as what he did with all of these contracts that have come out. It's a very sad day when we look at it. I can't even believe it. But many contracts just extend, and they just keep extending, and there was nobody there to correct it. And that cannot be, I can't imagine that could be held up by the court. Any court that would say that the president or his representatives, like Secretary of the Treasury, Secretary of State, whatever, doesn't have the right to go over their books and make sure everything's honest. I mean, how can you have a country? You can't have anything that way. You can't have a business that way. You can't have a country that way. Hey, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Head it out.
Coming back tonight. Mark Fogel will be at the White House tonight at about 10 o'clock. If you want to come over, you can say hello to him.
Did the U.S. give anything in return?
Not much. No, they were very nice. We were treated very nicely by Russia, actually. I hope that's the beginning of a relationship where we can end that war and millions of people can stop being killed. They've lost millions of people. They lost, in terms of soldiers, probably 1.5 million soldiers in a short period of time. We got to stop that war. And I'm interested primarily from the standpoint of death. We're losing all those soldiers. And they're not American soldiers, they're Ukrainian and Russian soldiers. But you're probably talking about 1.5 million. I think we got to bring that one to an end. Okay? Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, gang, you're going to have to let me know what you think. Like, what? I'll tell you what I think. I think that I was not a Trump supporter before. Now I am. My eyes have been opened so much over the last few years that black is white, white is black. Like, it's very confusing. It's a weird time in society. Like, I know I'm an open-minded thinker. Like, again, I was against Trump, but then I learned a lot about Canadian federal politics, which I used to know more about international politics than Canadian politics, but now I know so much about that it's undeniable what's going on. Anyhow, leave a note, leave a comment, please. What do you think of Trump? What do you think of Elon Musk? What do you think of the Department of government efficiency investigations, what do you think they're going to turn up? It's wild times, man. $1 trillion. Pretty hard for most of us to think about like $100,000, let alone $1 trillion. Like, I think there's a dozen zeros to a trillion over 100,000. Anyhow, my name's Aaron. Thank you for watching the video. We will be watching American politics because we're so heavily influenced here in Canada. And since the Liberals and Trudeau NDP coalition pulled the rug out from underneath us and whatever, they just don't want to answer for the reckoning that's coming. Aaron, Canadian Looney, like, share, subscribe, get notified, all those things. We do live shows here all the time. Come check one of those out. Please leave a comment. That's it. Remember to hit your subscription, and that's it. We'll catch you next video. Thank you for watching this one. Bump, bump, ba-dum, bump. What's next? Who knows? Litter gang. Everyone has an opinion about Canadian federal politics.
Oh, yeah.